Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Let's not waste any time. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in. A $25,000 prize.
Did you
for
get
the best
your ticket to
Web3 project
XRP Las
idea.
Vegas?
XRP community. The
Let's
SEC
go.
versus Ripple case is over. Now the path is clear. And the celebration at XRP Las Vegas 2025 just went 10x. And you need to be there May 30th and 31st at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Hear from White House Crypto Council members on stage, including Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Giancarlo. You'll also hear from Dr. Christopher Brummer from Blueprint. And one lucky builder developer will win a $25,000 prize for the best Web3 project idea. Go to the EZA app to register for your chance to win $25K. The excitement is building for XRP Las Vegas 2025, the world's largest XRP conference. Get your tickets now and lock in.
You better believe it, lock in. Let's look right now. We are at $2.88 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 1.2%. Bitcoin 84,000 plus, Ethereum 2,000 plus now. XRP number 4 spots 241. We're up 0.9 on the 24. We're up 4.1 on the 7-day. Technical analysts are getting very excited. We'll touch it before we get out of here. Ranging between 237 and 242, that trading range has tightened up quite a bit. Normally, we trade between 1.5 cents. So this is really kind of tightened up more recently in the last 24 hours than we've seen. Well, wait till you see the charts. You're going to love those. And by the way, come on in and join the Freedom Zone. Everybody else is. Click the join button right here. Let me tell you something. You get every single daily video with 0 Google ads. That in itself is worth the price of admission because we're talking about less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month. Yeah, click the join button and the extra content we're going to get into today. JFK, you know what went on. The papers are out. We're going to go over it. Let me tell you, getting super excited. Uphold's super excited. Want to guess what happens when demand outpaces supply? Looks like a giant X to me. Looks like a giant X to me. What about to you? I said, oh, now Uphold went and done it. Look at what they did. Yeah, well, I'm going to show you some information that I believe aligns exactly with this post right here. And who would know better than Uphold, knowing they have an enterprise side of their business, and they've made it very clear, as Ripple has, that the real USD will be used in 2025. So head on a swivel. If anybody knows, they should know. I'm going to go down memory lane here. Christine Lagarde, when she was the managing director of the IMF, stay with me, you're about to find out why. She says Circle and Ripple. She didn't say Bitcoin. In fact, in the past, she said it is not the Bitcoin we're talking about.
You're going to reduce your cost, you're going to expedite your transactions, and you're going to continue to inspire confidence because you will build that on the basis of an existing backbone, which is your bank and the confidence relationship that you've established with your customers. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful.
So there it is. They've known for years who's going to be the answer to this new digital on-chain economy. And here's the recognition from Brad Garlinghouse. They work with several central banks around the world.
At this is Ripple's really trying to solve that cross-border payments problem. You know, central bank digital currencies are domestic by nature. They're issued by a central bank or potentially issued by a central bank. So they're not really solving cross-border problems. They're solving domestic solutions more often than not. So look, I think that what we're seeing happen with stablecoins, we're seeing happen with central bank issued digital assets, I think is exciting. I'm not exactly clear how it's all going to play out. You're seeing countries experiment and test. Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced. that they're issuing and testing using the XRP ledger to issue their digital assets on the XRP ledger as a token. So we're excited to be working with them. And look, at our core, Ripple's really good at working with enterprise customers. A government is just a big enterprise customer. You know, we know how to sell to.
That's an interesting notion.
I mean, in some ways, it's just a really big enterprise customer, and we're pretty good at that now because we've had a lot of experience with it and worked with some of the largest banks in the world, as well as a lot of the smaller payment companies that have grown very quickly using our technology. It's helped them grow more quickly.
No doubt about it. And that's where the stage is set. And now we see the United States and this current administration embracing crypto, embracing this innovation. And you have to wonder, is the United States going to surface as one of these central banks they've been working with? After all, this is the size of the market we're actually after here. Ripple XRP versus global transfer markets. This has been around since 2018. We've been looking at this document. But this is what we're talking about here. Global transfer market. Think of it, 2.7 quadrillion. It takes 1,000 trillion to make a quadrillion. This is unbelievable, right? So when you look at the size of this market and understand that everything in this market and on this diagram eventually will be tokenized, then you have to ask yourself, how much of that market share do you believe XRP will be able to actually provide for, right? And facilitate. Yeah, or Ripple custody. Speaking of which, Ripple custody, Medico, remember they have two solutions at the moment. Medico they bought first, and then they bought Standard Custody and Trust Company here in the States. Well, HSBC uses Medico platform, and they're talking about the importance of ISO 20022 for cross-border payments. You got to hear this. Shout out to EchoX for this, and shout out to him anyway. He's a really great member in this community. No question about it. We think the world of him, and you will see him at XRP Las Vegas, baby. But let's hear what he's found here and how he talks about ISO. Remember, we just had a Watcher Guru post and BitTrue post all over social media that Ripple's going to be working with Swift and the integration of ISO 20022, and they're holding that XRP. Then Watcher Guru said, wait a minute, that was a hacker that did that. But there's really odd circumstances at how that happened, because they recovered their account faster than anyone in the history of a hack. I don't understand how that happened. So some suggest, as I lean into until I have other information, it feels like a press release that went out too soon and then they pulled it down a minute later. That's what it feels like. Nonetheless, listen to this.
So Mark, can you tell us, what is ISO 20022?
Okay, so ISO 20022 is a standard supporting financial messaging, and it uses extensible markup language, or XML syntax. So XML, people we're all familiar with. It's been implemented by banks, corporations, payment systems, and financial application providers to conduct payment operations, and it's currently used by a number of real-time payment schemes and in some domestic RTGS and ACH markets around the globe. Many schemes not already using ISO have announced plans to migrate over the next few years, and Swift themselves will migrate for cross-border traffic beginning in November 22, replacing the current MT series of Swift messages by the end of 2025.
So what is triggering this change for the current MT payment format to the new ISO 20022 formats? And why is it important for us to align with these standards?
With payment market infrastructures of all major currencies either live today or in the process of adopting the ISO standards, the Swift community decided it's now time to adopt this financial standard to further enable the modernization of cross-border payments. ISO will enable richer, better structured and more granular transaction data to be included in payment messages, and more remittance information for payment services providers and their customers, which will enable a better customer experience. There are other benefits which include less manual intervention, more accurate compliance processes, higher resilience, and improved fraud prevention measures. So the industry is changing rapidly, and it's really important to our business and certainly our customers, given that millions of customers make payments through us. So For example, last year, HSBC processed nearly 4.5 billion payments. So that's equivalent to 139 payments every second. So it's very important. Couple this with the fact that these are made in over 100 different currencies, and you can see how important this is to us and indeed to our customers. So banks are expected to do payments well, and those expectations are rising in an increasingly digital world with regards to speed and service. And from an HSBC perspective, we're good at this. We're the world's leading transactional bank. So our reliability and network offer a competitive edge. All banks, including our own FI customers, have to make changes to adopt ISO standards so we can continue to send payments globally via the SWIFT network and continue participating in the domestic schemes which are also adopting these standards. Along with SWIFT, major market infrastructures such as CHAPS in the UK, Euro 1 and Target 2 in Europe, Fed and CHIPS in the US, and CHATS in Hong Kong are adopting ISO standards. So essentially all payments are shifting to this new standard, and we certainly can't afford to stay behind. And then from November of 2025, when SWIFT retires the MT messaging standard completely, the Bank of England will say that we must use structured addresses and remittance data for all payments. So that's quite key.
So you just heard Mark Avery, who is the head of HSBC's European product team. And with HSBC being one of the largest commercialized banks in the world, they understand the timeline. It had never changed. It has always been November 2025. Now, to be honest with you, there is another 15 more minutes to that whole entire interview. I'm going to be posting it over on my X account if you want to check it out. And just for context, okay, to fit in XRP into all of this, okay, HSBC made the adoption to use Medico's platform almost a couple years ago. Ripple owns Medico. They acquired it. And in that article, the CEO of Medico states there is an indirect link, which is that the adoption of Ripple and Medico's solution further promote the adoption of the XRPL as a protocol. Every success of Ripple, the company, is also a success for the XRP ledger. And
there you have it.
if you don't believe that HSBC and Swift don't already know that Ripple technology, RippleNet, uses XRP as their on-demand liquidity, then I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because XRP is the heartbeat of Ripple, just like Brad Garlinghouse always said. This is why it's so important to know what you hold. Let's go.
You better believe it. Shout out to Echo X. I love this guy. He's got such a great energy. If you're not giving him a follow, I don't know why, but you should. You can meet him at XRP Las Vegas. To further tie in this conversation, I want you to listen how they talk here. First of all, notice the diagram that has Ripple in it right here beside Swift. You know, it is clear to me that at some point on the back end of the financial system, the players involved could choose to say, well, I'm going to use Swift today, or I'm going to use Ripple's DLT. You know, that's what that looks like to me, right? I mean, it's exactly what it looks like to me. That's where the choice is. And at some point, I think people start realizing the better choice, the more efficient choice is, in fact, to use distributed ledger technology and assets and get the velocity of money and the efficiency, the rest of it. So we will see, but take a listen to this clip. You're going to love it. And notice, native ISO 20022 products, Swift, support MT messages, Ripple's in the stack, baby.
If you haven't heard of PaymentSafe, PaymentSafe is Ethnet's payment hub that unifies dealing with all kinds of payment networks, whether domestic, international, and of course Swift as well, to allow an enhanced STP mode on all different payments. Now, the importance of PaymentSafe over here is that it has an important component, which is a universal translator for the exchange of different payment formats. Now, of course, one of the most important formats is the legacy MT that you already know, and the new ISO 20022 format, including the CBPR Plus. We offer a lot of. If you haven't heard of PaymentSafe, PaymentSafe is Ethnet's payment hub that unifies dealing with all kinds of payment networks, whether domestic, international, and of course Swift as well, to allow an enhanced STP mode on all different payments. Now, the importance of Payment Safe over here is that it has an important component, which is a universal translator for the exchange of different payment formats. Now,
oh, I did not mean to do that. I'm such a geek.
If you haven't heard, that is the legacy MT that you already know, and the new ISO 222 format, including the CBPR Plus. We offer a lot of,
and it runs out right there. Listen, all of this is coming together, and according to HSBC and EchoX, November 25 is a target. And that would make perfect sense to me because the president wants legislation in the U.S. on his desk to sign by the August recess. That gives plenty enough time to sign it into law and then begin to see everyone in the financial world start to move and take advantage of this new innovation inside their business models. And remember, that's going to be that early first mover advantage. We're going to see who has that go-to-market strategy ready and waiting this year. Again, we had all of those near misses, hack attempt, and the quote is not us if we were hacked, all of this business, right? But yet we see everything that's happening. You saw the timeline, November 25. I don't know where this is going, but just in case you're curious whether Ripple really does have the ability to fit inside Swift, Swift.com talks about it. Focused blockchain firms such as Ripple Labs could also play a major role here in international trade ecosystem. You know, we're really not guessing at anything other than when they decide to do this. And I think we all understand that legislation is going to open the door here. It doesn't mean that we won't see some people move to set strategy and reveal their position of where they're getting ready to be. And we love that, and I welcome it. But the truth is what I'm seeing here is telling me that we are on top of the target. We are closer than we've ever been to realizing what we've been waiting for all these years. And it's to see the financial system, the traditional economy, tokenize everything of value and put it on blockchain. How about that? Don't forget, U.S. Treasury payment system is going under maintenance 6 to 10 yesterday, Eastern time. Why did the Treasury system go under maintenance? Does it have anything to do with our conversation or not? I don't know the answer. I'm not pretending I know. I'm just saying, isn't it odd? All these other things are taking place, and this happens too as well. You know, again, these are things to pay attention to. If we can eliminate them, we'll eliminate them. And again, I ask, will the government acquire crypto assets like Bitcoin and XRP without costing the taxpayer money by issuing digital asset bonds for Bitcoin, XRP, and other assets directly from the U.S. Treasury? This could create a great demand to buy the digital assets, Bitcoin and XRP bonds, forcing the assets to be bought up and placed in a qualified custodian, taking it off the market, bringing tons of money into the country, locking up the assets. And don't forget, it's going to be the most guaranteed product, investment product you could ever buy because the government's going to guarantee it. And then you have the ETFs introduced. So now the ETFs are qualified or go to a qualified custodian. There's a race to buy up all of these assets, either through a U.S. digital asset bond or through the ETFs themselves. And then you bring in the legislation and the market makers, and we're off to the races. You've got upward pressure on price every single day until it finally dawns on the automated market maker that they need to buy as much XRP as they can because they need to use XRP every day. And if XRP is starting to go up all the time or projected to, they better buy as much today because it'll always be worth more tomorrow. That's a moment we're waiting for as well. Will that moment come before legislation or after? I don't know the answer. I tend to think after. But that doesn't mean we won't see a surge until we get there. Javon Marks XRP's next bullish wave looks to be nearing, and by past performance can result in a push to the 1.618 Fibonacci level at approximately $16.50. A full similar performance to the last bull cycle could result in a more than $100 XRP, which would be more than near than 40x from here. How about that? Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. This is going to be something today, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to be there for it. And by the way, Dig Perspectives website's done. We had the maintenance done on it. Took a minute to get it done, obviously, but I appreciate my man for getting it all squared away. It's back up and running. You want to join the Freedom Zone, you can click that button and come on in, or join the DPMG. That window's opening again shortly. But if you're going to join, you better join, because I don't like that group to get too big. I've got a great group of people in there, and I'm not looking for it to get out of whack. So if you want to be in the DPMG and the weekly conversations and all the courses and groups that we have in there, you better join quick, because I don't leave that window open long either. We're going into the Freedom Zone right now. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. JFK files, here we come, baby. Come on in. Welcome back.